Welcome to Zvia Weight Loss and Medspa. You know, if you've been doing everything right, eating well, exercising, getting sleep, and your body has just stopped cooperating, you are not imagining it. Something has shifted. Maybe it was gradual, maybe it happened after a hormonal change, but the metabolism that used to work with you now seems to be working against you. And you know, the most frustrating part? This isn't about a lack of effort on your part. Willpower is absolutely not the missing ingredient here. That's exactly what makes this so maddening, right? It's not about discipline. Your body is simply operating under a different set of biological rules than it was 5 or 10 years ago. So today, we're going to dive into the science of intermittent fasting and explore a powerful tool your body already has. We call it the metabolic switch. The thing is, our modern eating patterns just rarely give it a chance to flip on. Okay, let's get into the biology of it. First, we need to understand what's happening during what we call the metabolic stalemate. This explains why your body feels stuck in that constant store, don't burn mode. So think about a typical day. When you eat from morning to night, say from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., your body stays in a constant glucose-burning state. Because you're always eating, insulin stays elevated. This keeps your growth signaling pathway called mTOR switched on. And at the same time, autophagy, which is your body's critical cellular cleanup program, is suppressed. It's switched off. And the big one? Your fat stores, they stay locked. They never get the signal to mobilize and be used for fuel. So that's the problem. But the good news is, your body has a built-in solution, a hidden switch. Let's talk about how we can activate this incredibly powerful hormonal response. And this is where you can really see the power of flipping that switch. Get this. After just a 24-hour fast, your growth hormone, which is so important for preserving lean muscle while telling your body to burn fat, it surges to 300% above its normal baseline. Your body isn't shutting down, it's waking up some really powerful systems. And it just keeps going. At 48 hours, that number can jump to an incredible 400 to 500%. So I want you to really hear this. Your body isn't shutting down when you fast. It's actually activating these amazing programs that are designed to keep you lean, strong, and mentally sharp. And this is all driven by what we've been calling the metabolic switch. It's basically the point where your liver runs out of its stored sugar, called glycogen. When that happens, your body has to transition. It switches to burning fatty acids and producing something called ketone bodies for fuel. Now, that 12 to 36-hour window is pretty wide because it really depends on things like your activity level and how much glycogen you had stored in the first place. So the fasting period isn't just about burning fat, it's actually triggering a deep renewal right down at the cellular level. So let's look at the science of that renewal and see how fasting really triggers our cells to repair themselves and how it lowers inflammation. Yeah, and this part is so cool. The main ketone body your liver makes, it's called beta-hydroxybutyrate, or BHB for short. It's not just some backup fuel, and that's what absolutely blew my mind when I first learned about this. BHB is actually a powerful signaling molecule. Exactly. BHB actively goes in and suppresses the NLRP3 inflammasome and inhibits NF-kappa B signaling. And trust me, these are two of the most significant inflammatory pathways in your entire body. At the same time, it stimulates BDNF, which stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This helps build a better brain. It's no wonder so many people report feeling so much sharper and clearer when they're in a fasted state. And this is where the process gets really elegant. So inside your cells, there's a master energy sensor called AMPK. When it senses the energy is low, like during a fast, it activates. AMPK then sends a signal to inhibit mTOR, that growth signal we talked about. And when mTOR goes quiet, a complex called ULK1 activates. And that's the direct trigger for autophagy to ramp up. Your cells literally start recycling old, damaged parts. It's your body's internal quality control system, and it runs best when you're not eating. Okay, so the science is incredible, right? But what does this actually feel like? What can you expect if you decide to start an intermittent fasting practice? Let's walk through that timeline. Okay, the first 2 weeks, days 1 through 14, are all about adaptation. Your hunger hormone, ghrelin, is used to surging at your usual mealtime, so not gonna lie, those first few days can feel pretty rough. But here's the key thing to remember. Ghrelin adapts. Within a couple of weeks, those hunger peaks completely recalibrate to your new schedule. Then, as you can see, you move into weeks of really measurable results, and eventually, you can achieve full metabolic flexibility.
But achieving that full metabolic flexibility isn't just about when you eat, it's also about what you do during your eating window and around your fast. Let's talk about how to work with your biology, not against it, to create the best possible strategy.
Okay, 3 things here make a huge difference. First up is protein. You want to distribute it across your eating window, not try to cram it all in at once. Second, exercise. Doing some light cardio while you're fasted can help you flip that metabolic switch faster. But for resistance training, lifting weights, you're better off doing that closer to your meals. And finally, sleep. Finishing your last meal 2 to 3 hours before bed is absolutely critical. Eating late can trigger a cortisol surge that really disrupts that deep, restorative REM sleep we all need.
No, it's so important to understand that while this is a really powerful tool, it's not for everyone, and it has to be applied intelligently. So let's be super clear about who should be especially thoughtful about taking this approach. This is a really important question. Women in perimenopause, for example, might do better with gentler protocols. That's because those hormonal shifts can change how the body reacts to stress. Of course, anyone who's underweight, under 18, pregnant, or breastfeeding should not fast. And it is absolutely vital that people with a history of eating disorders approach this with extreme caution and professional guidance. And that's exactly why having a provider who really deeply understands the biology makes all the difference in the world. The gap between just some generic advice you find online and a truly effective strategy is working with someone who gets how your hormones, your life stage, and your unique biology all interact. And that is exactly what your Zvia provider does. You see, this is all about your biology, your goals, and having a team at Zvia that is genuinely invested in helping you get there. Understanding the science is the first step, but working with a team that understands it deeply, that's the second, and it's just as important. If you're curious about why your body hasn't been responding, this all starts with a simple conversation. Come visit us at www.zvia.com, that's Z as in zebra, V as in Victor, IA.com. Or you can give us a call at 303-902-5353. Go ahead and schedule your consultation with the Zvia team today. Just so you know, all of this has been educational information. Your Zvia provider will work with you to determine if this protocol is appropriate for your individual needs.